Please like this video and subscribe. I really want to reach my first 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. Before I tell you what happened, here's the practical point of this story, because guys miss this stuff all the time. Disrespect rarely starts with screaming. It starts with a calm face, a rehearsed tone, and a decision that shows up in your living room like it owns the place. The mistake is thinking you can talk it out with someone who's not asking a question. They're issuing terms. In this one, the focus is simple: how to recognize the moment you're being demoted to a safe base, and how to respond without begging, without drama, and without losing control of your home, your time, and your money. You'll hear exactly where the line got crossed, what I did immediately, and why consequences beat conversations when the other person is only negotiating for themselves. Tuesday night. Dinner dishes were drying, both dogs were sprawled out like they paid the mortgage, and I was on the couch folding laundry. Normal suburban routine. Quiet. Predictable. The kind of boring that's actually earned. Vanessa stood by the TV with her arms crossed. Not "I'm thinking" crossed. More like "I've already decided and you're late" crossed. Her face was flat, almost practiced. No warm-up. No, "Can we talk?" No nervizlaf. She just said it. "I want to see other people." I looked up over a stack of towels, half expecting the punchline. I gave her a short laugh. "Okay, and I want a garage that cleans itself. We doing wishes now?" She didn't blink. "I'm serious," she said, voice even. "From today, we're doing open relationships." There it was. Not a conversation. A policy update. I set the towels down neatly. That's my thing. When something gets ugly, I get calm. I don't perform. "Define we," I said, because that sounded a lot like you. Vanessa's chin lifted like she was offended I'd asked for clarity. "I need to feel alive again," she said. "I need passion. I need to feel desired. And you're telling me this like it's a weather report." She exhaled, irritated. "Don't make it dramatic." I leaned back. "You walked into the living room and announced you're shopping for other men. That is the dramatic part." She took one step closer, still in that stiff posture, like she was delivering a prepared statement. "I deserve this," she said. "You've always been stable, safe, and I want to come home to you. I want us to keep our life. The house, the dogs, everything. I just need more." I held her gaze for a second, letting the words settle in the room. "So I'm the base," I said. "The reliable bed, the bills, the routine. And you go get your sparks elsewhere." Her mouth tightened. "Don't talk like that." "How should I talk?" "Like you didn't just say it." Vanessa's eyes flashed. "You're twisting it." "No, Olivia. I'm translating it." She waved a hand like she was swatting a fly. "Men do this all the time. I'm being honest. You should appreciate the honesty." I raised an eyebrow. Honesty would sound like, "I'm unhappy and I'm willing to risk the marriage." What you just offered is a deal where you keep everything and I swallow it. "It's not a deal," she snapped. "It's what I need." There was again. Me. Mine. Need. Deserve. I nodded slowly. "Okay, if we're doing freedom, I'm not against freedom." Her shoulders eased like she'd won the argument just by wearing me down. "Good," she said, already softer. "See? I knew you could be mature." I let that hang for half a beat. "And just so we're clear," I added, "I've already been living like that." Her smile froze. "What?" I folded one last shirt, precise, like I had all the time in the world. "I'm seeing someone," I said. "Not as a stunt. It's in a while." I just didn't feel the need to announce it like a press conference. The room went dead. Vanessa stared at me like I'd slapped her with a tax bill. "That's not," she started. I shrugged. "I'm a step ahead, I guess." Her face changed in 2 stages. First confusion, then anger so fast it looked like a switch. "That's not what I meant," she snapped. "This was for me." I nodded slow. "Yeah, I heard that loud and clear." Vanessa's voice rose. "You're lying." "I'm not. You're doing this to punish me." I gave her a thin smile. "Punish you? You just offer me a front row seat to your new dating life. I'm accepting your lifestyle choice." She moved closer, eyes wide. "Who is she?" "You don't get to audit my freedom," I said. "That's the whole concept, right?" Vanessa looked like she couldn't decide whether to cry or scream. She went with screaming. "This is different," she said. "I'm your wife." "And I'm your husband," I answered, which makes this little announcement even wilder. She jabbed a finger toward me. "You're supposed to fight for me. You're supposed to care." I tilted my head. You want me to fight for you while you're asking permission to go feel desired somewhere else? Her mouth opened, then closed. She had no clean line for that. She tried anyway. You're being cold. I gave her my most polite corporate tone. The one I use at work when someone's asking for something stupid. Vanessa, I said, this isn't about honesty. This is you asking for rules that only apply to you. And now you're shocked because I'm not volunteering to be your stable little home base. She stood there, arms still crossed, but now it looked less like power and more like panic. And I remember thinking, clear as day, if I'd known where it was headed after that sentence, I would have moved even faster. Vanessa turned away like she was done with me, like she could dismiss the whole thing. Fine, she said. I have plans tomorrow anyway. I didn't ask what plans. I didn't ask with who. That's what she wanted. A reaction. A chase. A plea. I just said, do what you want. She looked back, hunting my face for something desperate. All she got was calm. That night, I didn't sleep much. Not because I was heartbroken, because I was calculating. I manage logistics for a living. When something becomes unstable, you reroute. You secure assets. You change access. You don't stand around arguing about why the truck caught fire. You move the cargo. The next evening, Vanessa performed her confidence like it was a show. She came down the stairs dressed like she was going to a fancy restaurant. Makeup perfect. Hair done. A heavy perfume trail that told me she wanted it noticed. She paused in the hallway, so I'd look. Be an adult, she said. Don't make this weird. I was at the kitchen island, scrolling on my phone, not because I was ignoring her, but because I refused to be her audience. Hard to make it weirder than it already is, I replied. She put her purse on her shoulder and smirked. Relax. You'll be fine. I glanced at her shoes, then her face. Are you staying out? She blinked. What? Tonight, I repeated. Are you coming home or not? Because if you're going out like you're single, I need to know what the plan is for the house. Vanessa laughed like I was being controlling. You don't get to set rules. I nodded. Then you don't get to assume the door stays open. Her smile faltered for a second, then she pushed past it. Don't wait up, she said, sweet as sugar. And try not to spiral. She stepped outside like a queen, leaving her castle. I watched her taillights disappear, then I looked at the dogs. You boys hungry? I asked. They didn't care about relationship politics. They cared about dinner. I fed them, then I moved. Not in anger, in procedure. I'd already bought a new lock that afternoon, right after work. Not because I was impulsive, because I saw the writing on the wall the moment she said, I deserve, and I still come home to you. That wasn't love. That was entitlement dressed up as therapy language. I changed the lock clean and fast. 30 minutes. I tested it twice. Then I walked to the porch and unscrewed the bulb from the front lamp. Not for drama, for clarity. If you leave the house like it's optional, you don't come back to a warm welcome like nothing happened. Inside, I turned off the extra lights, checked the windows, set the alarm. Then I opened our banking app. Joint account, credit cards, auto payments, shared access. I didn't do anything wild. I didn't wipe it out. I just started the separation steps. New passwords, new account setup, moving my direct deposit instructions, and flagging every shared subscription and utility. Freedom without responsibility always tries to hide inside money. I wasn't going to be the guy funding someone else's new thrills while I stayed home walking the dogs. Around 1:20 a.m., headlights washed across the living room walls. Tires on the driveway. A car door. Her heels on concrete, uneven now. Then the doorknob. A pause. The knob again, harder. Then the knocking started. Fussed. Desperate. Not I live here. More like, please don't make me stand out here. Jason, her voice hissed. Open the door. I didn't open the door. I walked to the front window and pulled the curtain back just enough to see her. Vanessa on the porch, makeup smeared, hair not so perfect, jacket pulled tight against the cold. Phone in her hand like it was a weapon. She saw my face and snapped. Are you serious? I cracked the window 2 inches. Enough to talk. Not enough to negotiate. You can't lock me out, she said. I can, I replied. I did. Her eyes went wide. This is my house, and you chose to leave it tonight like it wasn't. She stepped closer to the window. Stop playing games. I kept my voice low. I'm not playing. You asked for freedom. Freedom means you go out and you accept that the world doesn't owe you comfort on the way back. Vanessa's voice wobbled, then hardened. I was testing you. I let out a quiet chuckle. That's cute. It was a test, she insisted, louder now, like volume could make it true. I wanted to see if you'd fight for us. If you'd care. I shook my head. A grown woman doesn't test her marriage by trying to keep a husband as a base while she auditions other men. She slapped the window frame. Let me in, Jason. No. Her eyes flashed again, and she switched tactics so fast it would have been impressive if it wasn't so obvious. Okay, she said, suddenly soft. Okay, I am sorry. I didn't think you'd do this. Can we just talk? Please. I watched her face, the way she tried to shape it into concern, into warmth, into sweet wife who made a mistake. I didn't buy it. Talking was available yesterday, I said. Tonight you wanted me to sit here and wait like a good boy. You even told me not to spiral. Vanessa's lips trembled. I didn't mean it like that. You did, I replied. And here's the principle. Because you seem confused. When you walk out of marriage like it's a revolving door, you don't get to keep the same key. Her jaw tightened. Where am I supposed to go? I shrugged. You had plans. Follow them. She stared at me like she couldn't believe I wasn't breaking. Jason, she said, softer, almost pleading, don't do this. I'll come inside and we'll fix it. I leaned closer to the window, not angry, just clear. I'm not fixing a deal that only benefits you, I told her. Tonight you learned a basic fact. Choices have weight. Go find somewhere else to sleep. She swallowed hard. You're being cruel. No, it'll be ya. I'm being final. Then I closed the window, locked it, walked away. I heard her knock again, then the sound faded. A car started. Tires backed out. The dogs looked up at me like, is it morning yet? I sat on the couch, checked the lock again, and opened my calendar for the next day. Because I wasn't going to drift. I was going to formalize. Morning came quick. I showered, dressed, and drove to the bank in person. Could I have done it online? Sure. But there's something about sitting across from a human being and saying a sentence out loud that makes it real. The banker was a middle-aged guy named Harold with tired eyes and a careful tone. He looked like he'd seen 1,000 couples implode quietly. How can I help you today? He asked. I slid my ID across the desk. I need to freeze the shared account. Harold's eyebrows lifted. Both account holders have to. I'm not closing it, I said. I'm freezing access pending separation of funds. And I need a new individual account opened. Today. He studied me. Is there a safety issue? I kept my voice steady. There's a control issue. Harold nodded like he understood more than he was allowed to say. Do you have documentation of separate residence? He asked. I do, he replied. And I'm also updating my direct deposit and removing shared access. He typed, clicked, printed. Quiet office sounds. The kind of boring that protects you. When he asked for a note, I said it plainly. She no longer resides at my address. Saying that felt like closing a door inside my head. I left the bank with my new account info and updated everything before lunch. At work, I kept it clean. I didn't gossip. I didn't announce my marriage was on fire. I had shipments to manage, drivers to coordinate, deadlines to hit. Around mid-afternoon, my coworker Marcus leaned against my office doorframe. Marcus is one of those guys who says a lot without saying much. A watchful type. You good? He asked. I didn't look up from my screen. I'm operational. He snorted. That's not an answer. I glanced at him. My house is quiet. My schedule is tight. That's my answer. Marcus nodded slowly. If someone shows up here and tries to start a scene, you want me to call security or just stand there looking scary? I gave him a dry look. You couldn't look scary if you tried. He grinned. I can look mildly inconvenient. Stay mildly inconvenient, I told him. An hour later, Vanessa walked into the warehouse office like she owned the place. Perfect timing. She was dressed casual now, but her face was sharp. Her eyes scanned the room, saw people watching, and she tried to turn it into a stage. Jason, she called, loud enough for heads to turn. Why can't I access our account? I didn't stand up fast. I didn't rush. I turned my chair slowly and looked at her like she'd just interrupted a meeting. This is my workplace, I said. Lower your voice. She scoffed. Oh, now you're embarrassed? I am focused and corrected. You should try it. Vanessa stepped closer. You froze the account. You changed passwords. You locked me out. What is wrong with you? Marcus appeared behind her, not aggressive, just present. Mildly inconvenient, like promised. I kept my tone steady. You chose separation. I formalized it. That's not separation, she snapped. That's you trying to control me. I leaned forward a little, hands on the desk. Control would be me begging you to stay while you do whatever you want. I'm not doing that. I'm removing access. Vanessa's eyes darted to the people watching. She adjusted her expression into wounded innocence. So you just cutting me off? She said. After everything I've done for you? I let that sit for a second, then replied, this is not a performance. If you need money, handle it like an adult, not like a surprise attack on my job. She hissed, I can't believe you're doing this. I kept my voice low, but clear. I can't believe you walked into my living room and told me you wanted a new life, but wanted my house to stay your landing pad. Her jaw tightened. You're making me look bad. I gave her a small smile. No, I'm letting your choices speak. She tried to push past Marcus, and Marcus didn't move. Not blocking her with force, just occupying space. Vanessa looked at him, then back at me. So that's it? You're going to humiliate me. I shook my head. You came here. You picked the audience. I'm just not playing along. Her voice dropped into something softer, almost gentle. Jason, she said, suddenly careful. Can we start over? Please. I was upset. I said things. I didn't mean it like that. There it was. First soft turn. A little apology wrapped in a plea. The warm mask. I didn't bite. You meant enough to do it, I said. And you meant enough to show up here now and demand access. Her eyes glistened just slightly. You don't have to be like this. I gave her a calm look. Edo. She stared at me for a long second, then spun on her heel and walked out, shoulders stiff like she was holding herself together with tape. Marcus watched her go, then looked at me. That was educational. I exhaled once. She's going to try the public angle next. Marcus tilted his head. Social media? I nodded. Yep. By that evening, the post started. Not direct names. Just vague lines about control, being silenced, a man who uses quiet as a weapon. A few dramatic photos. Soft lighting. Sad eyes. The kind of content that collects sympathy like loose change. Friends and acquaintances started messaging me. Some asked questions. Some sent those annoying, neutral lines. Hope you two figure out. Like it was a scheduling issue. I didn't respond publicly. I didn't write a counterpost. I didn't argue in comment sections like a teenager. I took screenshots, dates, times, everything. Then I called Dana. Dana is a professional advisor a friend had recommended months ago for a completely different matter. Sharp voice. No patience for nonsense. Tell me what you have, Dana said. I explained it in 10 sentences. Calm, clean, no emotional speeches. Dana paused, then said, good. Keep collecting. Do not engage. Build a timeline. Already doing it, I replied. And Jason, Dana added, expect escalation. People who live off narrative hate paperwork. I almost laughed. That tracks. That weekend, my buddy Ben had his birthday in a rented hall. Nothing fancy. A DJ, snacks, a couple tables, people from our circle. Ben's the type who can turn a room into a good time without trying. I almost skipped it, not because I was scared, because I didn't want my life turned into a party topic. But I went anyway. That's part of staying solid. You don't hide because someone else is messy. I walked in with a simple gift and a neutral expression. Ben clapped me on the shoulder. There he is, he said. Man, you look calm, which makes me nervous. I smirked. I'm always calm. Ben leaned in. Is she coming? I don't control her, I said. Remember? That's the whole theme. Ben chuckled. Then his eyes flicked past me. Speak of the theme. Vanessa walked in like she'd rehearsed it. Not overdressed. Not sloppy. Innocent. A light sweater, soft hair, friendly smile. The kind of look that says, I'm the reasonable one. She laughed loud at someone's joke. She hugged people. She waved like she was running for office. Her friends were with her, 2 women I'd seen at our house before, the type who speak in group-approved phrases. One of them, Tessa, approached me with that pity smile energy. Jason, she said, voice gentle. Can we talk for a second? I looked at her. About what? Tessa glanced back at Vanessa, then back at me. Vanessa's going through a lot. She needs basics. Stability. I held her gaze. Stability isn't a charity. Her friend, Lila, jumped in. Come on. You can't just cut her off. I tilted my head. Watch me. Tessa's smile strained. It's not about sides. It's about being a good man. I nodded slowly. A good man doesn't finance disrespect. Lila's eyes narrowed. You're being harsh. I gave a small shrug. You're being generous with someone else's wallet. Tessa tried the soft tone again. She's still your wife. I replied, calm and flat. Status doesn't override behavior. They both stared at me like I'd broken a rule of the social club. If you're worried about her basics, I added, you too can help her. That's what friends do. Lila scoffed. Wow. I smiled politely. Yeah, wow. They walked off, irritated, and I could feel the energy shift. The room had a new curiosity now. People watched in little glances, pretending not to. Vanessa approached later, carrying a drink like it was a prop. She stopped close enough for me to smell her perfume, then smiled like nothing had happened. Look at you, she said. Mr. Ice. I raised an eyebrow. You came for the attention or the snacks? Her smile tightened. I came because Ben invited me. And you came dressed like a saint, I replied. Smart. Vanessa's eyes flicked. You're really enjoying painting me as the bad guy. I shook my head. I'm not painting. I am documenting. She leaned in slightly. Do you even feel anything? I looked at her for a second, then said, feelings don't pay rent. Vanessa's smile cracked. You're disgusting. I chuckled softly. No, imurvanisa. Her voice dropped. We could fix this. I gave her a calm look. You don't want to fix it. You want access. She blinked just once. A tiny glitch. Then she tried the second soft move. Bigger, sweeter, almost too warm. Jason, she said, touching my arm lightly. I miss us. I miss our mornings. The dogs. I've been thinking maybe we went too fast. Maybe we need rules. Real rules. Together. I gently removed her hand from my arm like it was a stray thread. You mean rules you approve? I said. Her eyes flashed. Why are you like this? Because I listened, I replied. You told me exactly what you wanted. A safe base. And now you're upset because the base moved. Vanessa opened her mouth to snap back. And that's when Rachel spoke up. Rachel had been standing near the snack table, quiet, watching. I recognized her immediately. She used to be close with Vanessa years back before they had some falling out. Vanessa always described as Rachel being jealous. Rachel stepped forward, not loud, not dramatic, just clear. Vanessa, she said, stop. Vanessa froze. Excuse me. Rachel's voice stayed calm. You left a marriage you weren't respecting and then acted shocked when he stopped covering the consequences. The room went quiet in that way people pretend isn't happening. Vanessa's face stiffened. You don't know anything. Rachel didn't flinch. I know you talked about lining people up to feel sorry for you. I know you joked about picking the right photos to make him look like the villain. A few heads turned. Someone coughed. Ben looked like he wanted to disappear into the wall. Vanessa laughed, high and fake. Oh my God, you're obsessed. Rachel's tone didn't change. No, I'm done staying quiet so you can keep playing queen. Vanessa's eyes darted around the room, trying to find support, trying to regain control. She found mostly discomfort and a few looks that weren't on her side anymore. She snapped, this is not the time. Rachel nodded once. Exactly. It should have never been a time. Vanessa's jaw clenched. She spun away and walked back to her group, but the shine was gone. Her mask was slipping. Ben came up to me, low voice. Dude, what was that? I kept my tone simple. That was reality entering the building. Later that week, Rachel messaged me. No flirting. No drama. Just, if you need someone to confirm what she said, I will. I replied, thank you. Coffee. We met at a small place near my office. Quiet. Neutral. Rachel showed up in jeans and a plain jacket. No performance. She sipped her coffee and said, you handled that better than most men would. I smirked. Most men get trapped trying to prove they're good. Rachel nodded. She likes that trap. I leaned back. Why did you speak up? Rachel stared into her cup for a second. Because I watch her do this to other people. She rewrites the story until she's the hero. and I'm tired of watching decent people bleed out in silence. I nodded once. I appreciate it. Rachel looked at me carefully. Are you okay? I gave her the honest answer. I'm clear. That's what Rachel felt like. Clear. No games. No what. We kept it simple after that. A few texts. Coffee again. A walk with the dogs one afternoon. No grand statements. Just calm company. Meanwhile, Vanessa kept pushing the narrative online, but now it had a problem. Screenshots don't care about feelings. Dana took my folder, dates, posts, messages, everything, and arranged it into a clean timeline. Not theatrical, not emotional, just factual. Then came a formal review meeting. Call it what you want. An official setting where statements get weighed and consequences get assigned. No jitting, no speeches, just adults in a room with documents. Vanessa showed up dressed like she was going to a sympathy audition. Soft makeup, a tremble in her voice. She spoke about being shut out and controlled and silenced. Dana didn't argue. Dana just slid the folder forward. Page after page. Her posts, her captions, her messages, the dates lining up with her choices. Rachel spoke too, calm and direct. I heard her say she wanted to make him look like the bad one, Rachel said. She talked about getting people to pressure him. She wanted money and comfort without accountability. Vanessa's face tightened. That's not what I said. Rachel's gaze didn't move. It is. Vanessa tried to cry. It didn't land the same in a room where paper is louder than tears. By the end, Vanessa was required to correct her public statements and pay compensation for the damage she tried to cause. Not a dramatic victory speech, just a clean outcome that stripped her favorite weapon, the story. When she realized she couldn't control people through vague posts anymore, she started messaging acquaintances privately, asking for help. Money, just for a little while. Calling it a misunderstanding. Funny how fast I deserve turns into please. Months passed. The house got quieter in a good way. The dogs settled. My routines got stronger. Rachel and I didn't rush into anything. That's not my style. But eventually, calm turns into trust. Trust turns into companionship. Simple dinners. Shared laughter. No tests. No traps. One Saturday morning, Rachel said, "Want to grab breakfast?" I nodded. Sure. We went to a cafe across town. A place Vanessa used to love because it looked good in photos. She used to order fancy breakfasts there like it was a lifestyle statement. We walked in, and I saw Vanessa behind the counter in a plain shirt and apron, hair pulled back, moving fast, eyes tired. She looked up when the bell chimed. Our eyes met. For a second, she froze. Not angry, not confident, just caught. Rachel didn't squeeze my arm, didn't act triumphant. She just stood beside me like a normal adult woman. Vanessa's gaze flicked to Rachel, then back to me. Her mouth opened like she had a line ready. I didn't give her the stage. I gave her a small nod. Not cruel, not smug, just final. Vanessa swallowed. Her eyes dropped. She turned back to the register, hands moving like she needed something to do with them. We ordered. We sat by the window. The dogs were at home, probably asleep on the couch like kings. Rachel took a sip of coffee and said quietly, "You okay?" I looked at Vanessa in the corner of my vision, then back at Rachel. "I'm better than okay," I replied. "I'm free of confusion." When we finished, we stood to leave. Vanessa glanced up again, and I could see it on her face. The realization that life kept going without her control, without her script, without her safety net. As we walked out, I didn't look back. Because the point was never to win a stare down. The point was to stop being anyone's base. And the last thing I ever said to Vanessa, months earlier when she tried one more time to talk it out through a long message full of softness and nostalgia, still held perfectly. I don't negotiate my dignity. I schedule my life without you. Here's the lesson, because if you miss it, you'll repeat it. First, pay attention to how a person frames their needs. Vanessa didn't come to me with a shared problem. She came with a demand and a role assignment. You're stable, I deserve passion, and I still come home. That wasn't intimacy. That was a plan to keep comfort while shopping for excitement. The mistake would have been arguing for hours, trying to convince her to respect me. Respect doesn't come from speeches. It comes from consequences. Second, initiative metteurs. The lock wasn't a tantrum. The bank visit wasn't spite. Those were adult moves that removed leverage. When someone tests your boundaries, don't hand them more access and hope they behave. Change the conditions. Secure your home. Secure your money. Keep your routine solid. Calm action ends games faster than emotional debates. Third, don't fight narratives with feelings. If someone tries to turn public sympathy into a weapon, don't jump into the mud to prove you're nice. Collect facts. Build a timeline. Let the truth be boring and consistent. Boring wins. What would have been a mistake? Chasing her, bargaining for fairness, trying to be understanding while she kept rewriting the rules. The real win wasn't watching her lose face. The win was getting my life back. Quiet mornings, a stable home, real respect, and a partner who doesn't treat love like a control system.